Cool. I think we can wait for another minute. Right then, I think we can get started. I think rest of the folks will be joining in pretty soon. So, first of all, welcome everyone for the third workshop at ETH for All. As everyone knows, we are officially kicking off the hackathon tomorrow. But just to get the ball rolling, we have sort of given some scheduled a few one-on-one workshops for you to get started. And today we have Rishikesh here with us, who will be, as aptly mentioned in the title, get your smart contracts ready for FVM. So we'll be talking about Filecoin, the Filecoin virtual machine. Yeah, you can, Rishikesh, over to you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the introduction. So yeah, good to see everybody here. Today we would be getting all your smart contracts ready for FVM, and I will make sure you get proper insights about Filecoin and virtual machine. That gives you a quite of head start for ETH for All hackathon. All right, so let's get quickly started. So what do you have as an agenda for today? So we will be discussing about what is FVM, what you guys can build on FVM, and lastly, how do we build on Filecoin virtual machine. So what is exactly Filecoin virtual machine? So Filecoin virtual machine is a runtime environment for smart contracts, which we call as an actors on Filecoin network. So these smart contracts can be written in your favorite smart contract language, that is Solidity. So you don't need to learn about another programming language to write down your smart contracts on FVM. So the FVM project delivers on-chain programmability to the Filecoin network. So your smart contract would enable the user to program the storage, create and enforce the rules such that this for storing and accessing the data that can be programmed via your smart contracts, which you would be creating on FVM. Okay. Let us discuss about a few ideas about what you guys can build on FVM. Uh, so we are having Filecoin network, the which is the storage network of Filecoin as L0, and above L0 we are having the layer one goes for Filecoin virtual machine, which is responsible for computation over the state of the data that is stored on Filecoin network. And lastly, L2, which we are anticipating that was going to be computation over the data. So pretty interesting to see what you guys going to build with this. So some of the possibilities coming up first is storage provider loan market. So what do you have here? Like if you just have a look at current scenario of how the storage providers interact with Filecoin network to create the deals and store the data, you will get to know that the storage providers actually need to provide some sort of collateral to secure a new deal. And for committing that collateral, the storage providers need to possess some amount of Filecoin. So which is actually a hurdle for anyone to become a Filecoin storage provider. So what can be possible solution here? So can we have a market wherein the users who are actually holding the Filecoin can act as a lender and earn interest or by lending their Filecoins to the storage providers over the period of time. So that can be one of an interesting use case, which would from it for all hackathon, which we can see from some good hackers. Then the next we are having here is perpetual storage deals. So currently the storage that is being the storage deals which are created on Filecoin network, they are for created for 6 to 18 months period of time, and after that you need to renew the deal. But with the concept of perpetual storage, you don't need to renew the deals every now and then once the deal is expired. So once you upload your data on Filecoin network, then you don't need to worry about any creating the new deals, and your data would be stored forever on Filecoin network. And definitely, if you are looking for some inspiration of how this perpetual storage deals can like you how you can build certain platform, so you can have a look at lighthouse dot storage. And if or else if you are trying to leverage the feature of perpetual storage inside your decentralized application, lighthouse dot storage can be your prominent the use which we might be using for storing the data. The next one we are having here is data privacy. So you must be knowing, like when you upload your data on IPFS, and whoever is holding the CID gets to have the access over the that particular data. But at sometimes it's a good feature, but sometimes you need to have some certain data privacy. So you can enable the data privacy over the Filecoin virtual machine with the help of having some sort of access controls. So one of the group which are already working over this is Medusa network. So you can try to leverage the Medusa network and the Medusa smart contracts to actually encrypt the data before uploading that on IPFS, and then the decryption can occur under certain condition. Like for example, if you are having certain NFT, then only you would be able to unlock that particular data. Same goes for if you are having some amount of certain tokens, then you would be able to have access to that particular data. The next one we are having is compute over the data. So this is the pretty interesting thing, like when we are talking about L2, which is the futuristic vision of Filecoin network. So if you are trying to build some computation or carry out some computation over the data, because if you see as of today, there are hundreds of data sets that are stored on Filecoin network. And for this, if you want to take some inspiration, you can have a look at Lagrange DAO, which is one of an FVM early builders. So that's an interesting use case you might think about. Next one we are having here is data DAOs. So data DAOs is actually the biggest opportunity right now, because such concept never existed before. So what exactly data DAO would facilitate is collective users who are having same interest can come up and curate some useful data, and they would be governing the data over the period of time, and then maybe they can sell the data to some third party under certain conditions. So all these things can be possible using data DAOs. So for just let me give you an good example. So let's think of a decentralized version of Spotify. So let's put it like some singers come up, or some producers come up, and they want to store all their music on a closed environment. So we can have a data DAO for this, and then they can decide how the access to this particular data can be provided to the normal users. So maybe to unlock that particular content, you can have some sort of access control feature, just which we just discussed in the previous slides, and then you can see who gets to have the access to that particular music. So even all this cycle now, all the cycle can be automized using the smart contract. So again, your smart contracts come into picture here when you are thinking of building a data DAO. And apart from this major use cases, if you are looking for some more use cases which you can build on Filecoin for it for all hackathon, so you can think of building some trustless reputation system for the storage providers, and also for creating a decentralized identity on Filecoin network. Then the next one you can have your NFTs. So your NFTs are actually created on Filecoin virtual machine, and your data also resides on the same network. So that gives an good feel. Then the next one you can have is storage bounties, decentralized verifiable computation, sector auctions. So sector auctions, just to give you some brief insight about this. So this is something related with the storage providers when they lock in some deals. So these things can be auctionated as well. The next thing, like which you normally have on other blockchains, like other EVM compatible blockchains like Ethereum, Polygon, or for that matter, like a Binance Smart Chain. So you can have the same features, like you can have some tokens created on Filecoin network. You can have on-chain voting as well. And now, if you want to like read about this in more details, you can quickly scan this QR code, which will take you to request for startup FVM edition. And this all these use cases are discussed in more detail, which will help you to ideate your project for this hackathon. And if you are unable to like quickly scan this QR, you can just Google for request for startup FVM edition, and you should be good to go. Okay, so we have discussed about various possibilities and various use cases that that you can build in this hackathon during this period of like roughly 15 days. So what you would be rewarded with? So that's an every one of you must be thinking about this. So Filecoin would be rewarding a total bounty of 10,000 USD, wherein like the 4,500 USD would be distributed to top 3 best use cases of Filecoin virtual machine, and it would be like which means like 1,500 per team, and we are having a pool price of 5,500 USD, which would be distributed among 20 projects, 20 excellent projects, which would be built on FVM. Okay, so last we are having how do we build on Filecoin virtual machine. So we are actually having a FEVM hard hat kit, which you can either scan the QR code or Google it, like it's github.com/filecoin project /FEVM hard hat kit, which would allow you to deploy if you want to have, if you are choosing hard hat as your development environment. So you can just have the normal flow, just like you deploy it on other EVM chains, you can have your smart contracts just fit into your hard hat environment, and you will be good to go. There are some required modifications which are not as usual, so you can refer this FEM hard hat kit, which will give you better insights on how to interact with the smart contracts which are deployed over FVM, as well as how do we deploy it on FVM using hard hat. Next thing is your favorite Remix IDE. So yes, we do support Remix IDE, and it's quite easy for you to just write your smart contract, test it out on Remix, and then just deploy it directly on FVM. So we are having a test net for Filecoin virtual machine. We call it as Hyperspace. We would be discussing about this in more details further. The next one we are having is filecoin.sol. So these are some libraries which are built by again an FVM early builder, and it's a it's like excellent work done by Zondax team. So this is a repository. Actually, we can say like it's a collection of some certain smart contracts, just like we are having Open Zeppelin. But this is an Open Zeppelin like utility specific to Filecoin network, because this smart contracts would enable you to interact with the Filecoin network and the built-in actors which are already residing on the Filecoin network. Next one, like once you are done deploying your smart contracts, next you want to have a look at like the details or the different transactions that are happening on your smart contract. So for that, you need a blockchain explorer. So we are having different blockchain explorer built by different teams. First one is by FileMine, second one is by Gilf team, then we are having another one by Filefox and Zondex team. So you can choose any one of them and track your transactions which are being carried out on your smart contracts. And I would like to tell you more about this space wrap program, which is carried out by Filecoin before moving on towards the workshop of deploying the smart contracts. So what exactly is space wrap launch program? So recently one hackathon is going on, which is the part of FEVM launch space wrap program. Apart from that, we are having multiple bounties. So The first one where Filecoin is giving away some micro grants to some excellent projects. If you are planning to build on FVM and looking forward to some micro grants, so this is your place. Then the hackathon which is currently going on, maybe some of you might be already participating in that. And the next one we are having is like bulletproofing. So since we are an ever growing like ecosystem, so we are happy for listening to your feedback, and that would help us to improve ourselves. So there's an bug hunt program, so if you're interested in looking out for one, this is your place. And we are rewarding a pool of 100k USD, so it's a good chance to grab some of them. The next one we are having is impact evaluator. So if you're having certain idea and you want to convert that into a potential startup, so this is going to be your place. You can just submit your project under impact evaluators, participate in the leaderboard, and then get rewarded according to the voting that's happening over the period of time. And lastly, there is FVM accelerator program. So once your startup reach to a better stage and you want to push it forward, you can participate in the accelerator program and take your project to next level. All right. So yeah, happy building. And before closing, we would just like get a good demo of how do we interact with Filecoin virtual machine and deploy our smart contracts. Let me just quickly share my screen. Okay, we do have certain questions. Okay. So like, is FVM EVM compatible? So yes, it's EVM compatible. You can have all your smart contracts which are actually residing on EVM compatible blockchains migrated over Filecoin. Are there any methods to query the Filecoin network for CIDs? So your CIDs would be discussing would be like uploaded on IPFS, and then you can have that you can just get to know your file. It would be staying on the Filecoin network, but you can verify those CIDs on your smart contract as well. So yeah. Mm, do we have any other stuff in the chat box? I will just quickly have a look over it. Uh, so if you're planning to build a Filecoin, so I would say do choose Hyperspace, because if it's a better alternative to Valibi and it's more stable as of now. Valibi would be going through multiple updates, so I would recommend you to just build your smart contracts on Hyperspace itself. All right, so let's go on to the demo part. So we were just talking about Hyperspace. So what exactly Hyperspace is? So Hyperspace is a test net which you would be using before we are yet to launch our mainnet. So meanwhile, you can have your platforms being built on Hyperspace testnet. And if you want to know anything and everything about Hyperspace testnet, you can just navigate to this URL, and you should be good to go. Have a look at whatever is happening around Hyperspace. Okay, so let's get started with first we need to add this Hyperspace testnet to MetaMask. So you can just go on chain list, and you can just either search for Hyperspace testnet or just go to this URL with the chain ID 3141. The next thing is just click on add to MetaMask, and then just approve it, and yeah, good, we should be good to go. And yes, we are having Hyperspace, Filecoin Hyperspace testnet now inside MetaMask. The next thing is you need some amount of test Filecoin. So you can just navigate to hyperspace.yoga / faucet, and you just need to enter your MetaMask wallet address inside the Zeller box, and just click on send button. You need to confirm that you are human, and let's do it. Lot of sunflowers here. So yeah, okay, I'm a human. It's been certified now. We will just enter the address. Okay, so this means that our test files would soon be appearing inside our MetaMask wallet. Okay, but I do already have some test files in my account. So we will move on to the next step. Like I will just navigate to Remix IDE. So I have already created one workspace for you all, and we will just deploy the basic smart contract that is available right now. That is the storage smart contract. Almost everyone of you must be aware about this. So just like who are new to this, I will just give you some head start. So Remix IDE is an environment wherein you can test your smart contracts, write your smart contracts, and deploy them over various blockchain networks. So this smart contract is basically does two things. The first one is it's allow you to store a certain number inside the blockchain, and the second thing is it allows you to retrieve the current number that is being stored. So we are done compiling the smart contract. Next, we will move towards deploying the smart contract. So all you need to do is change the environment to injected provider MetaMask, and make sure that on MetaMask you are connected to Filecoin Hyperspace testnet. And what verifies it that you should be able to see custom 19 network, and your balance should also be like visible here. Okay, perfect. Now let us deploy the smart contract. To deploy the smart contract, we will just have a look. So we are having this much amount of gas fees that need to be spent, and we will just confirm the transaction. So meanwhile, the transaction get confirmed. I will just take you through this URL. I will just drop down here as well, so you can have a look at this. So okay. So this guide will do the same which I'm doing right now. So it's a quick start. It will allow you to get the flow of how do we connect to a wallet, and then how do we switch the networks and get some funds from the faucets. Then moving on towards the Remix IDE to create the contract, and then the next thing is creating the workspace, which we already did. Then you can write down your custom smart contract, whatever the smart contract you want to build. And once you are done with that, next you need to compile the smart contract. And once you are done with compiling, you should be able to move on to the next step, that is deploying the smart contract. Change the environment, which we just did again. So we are on track. The next thing is just make sure that you are having sufficient amount of ethers. Test Filecoins. It replicates as ethers on Remix ID, but since you are on Filecoin network, it would be fine. Now, just select the contract from the drop-down list and just deploy it. And just like we are waiting for creation of our smart contract, and yes, like our smart contract have been deployed. Now let us play around the instance of the smart contract. So since we are having two functions, the first one was to store a number, and the second one was to retrieve the number we just stored. So let us enter some number, let's say 404, and yeah, our MetaMask has popped up. I will just confirm the transaction. Meanwhile, I will just copy this, and I will just navigate to one of my like favorite Filecoin like Explorer, and I will just hit my smart contract address here, and I should be able to see like whatever the transactions that are happening. We just recently carried out this transaction of deploying the smart contract, so you are able to see all the transactions here. So these are all this contract addresses are converted as per the addressing system on Filecoin network. So you can just like hit or search for your addresses, which is like coming up inside the Remix ID, which is evening compatible. Okay, let us just wait for this smart contract to be executed. We are just waiting for the transaction to be confirmed. Meanwhile, let's just take up some questions. When testing a smart contract, is there any specific environment to be selected within Remix, or we can test it on any available VM within Remix? So for testing the smart contract, you can take any But when you actually want to interact with the built-in actors of Filecoin, you should have your smart contracts. Even while testing, it should be deployed on Filecoin Hyperspace testnet itself. Okay, so Zondex API, can it be okay. Can it be used to manipulate the storage deals? So you can actually use Zondex APIs for creating deals, then verifying the deals, and I'm not sure, like by manipulating before even like carrying out the deals. If you mean to say like can we have certain auction or marketplace like stuff, so yes, you can build a such system here using Zondex APIs. Uh, is Filecoin different blockchain like Ethereum? So yes, Filecoin is a different blockchain. So when we actually started, so till now, Filecoin was focusing on to act as a storage on IPFS. So it added another layer on IPFS to make sure your data is stored securely on IPFS. But now coming introducing the FVM, you should be able to like play around with that data, govern that data, and program the data actually. So this is what FVM makes it possible. So can you please brief of how we can add the hyperspace testnet in Wagami config? You can just go to the Filecoin Slack channel. I don't have the link right now, but yes, you can definitely. We do have certain repos. Once you just progress with the hackathon, we will be sharing you some cheat sheet wherein you can just look out for all these resources, and this part is also covered in that. So market APIs method work for hyperspace deals, right? Yes, it do work it. How do we set up local Filecoin network for development? So you can just go to the documentation of Filecoin and navigate to Lotus, and you should be able to see like how you can set up a local Filecoin network. Okay, perfect. So since all the deals which are carried out for storage of the data on IPFS, so we are making use of it happens over the storage layer of Filecoin, that is actually the Filecoin network. So on top of it, which I was saying about like the layer one, the FVM. So once the deals are created on L0, or that is on the Filecoin network, you can actually program that deals if they are set for 6 months, they are set for 12 months. You get to know you get to reward that particular storage provider, or you can have a certain system wherein you get to know like, okay, I want to store this data with certain storage providers, so depending upon its previous reputation. So all these things can be possible after the introduction of FVM. Okay, can you talk about advantages, differences in using Filecoin Hyperspace versus Ethereum mainnet or testnet? Okay, on if we have a look at Ethereum, or for that matter any EVM compatible blockchain, they are focused on making it more smart contract compatible, but it's not exactly the case with Filecoin. Filecoin already comes up with its own infrastructure, which allows you to store the data on IPFS, and with Filecoin Hyperspace, now you would be able to program this storage spaces. The next one is so I have already discussed the key features of Filecoin network, how to be storage providers. So again, you can refer the Filecoin documentation for this. You can just ping us on Discord channels or Slack channels, and we will just navigate you to the appropriate documentation. So right now, the cost of deploying the smart contract is quite fluctuating, but it's quite lower than Ethereum. So once we actually move on to the mainnet, you should be able to get the actual data. Okay. So suppose if you deploy your smart contract on Hyperspace with the hard hat, then can I say that it is on FVM? Yes. Then let's move on to another one. Can I use Filecoin as storage system with my Ethereum project? Yes, you can definitely have there are different storage providers, you can make use of NFT.storage, Web3.storage, Lighthouse.storage, and you should be good to go. Yep, I guess like we are, I will just get back to our actual demo and just to check whether like we are done with carrying out the transaction. So we just carried out the transaction and on MetaMask, I am able to see that contract interaction was successful and the send transaction was carried out successfully. And when I hit the retrieve function, I'm able to see that the data that I stored 404 is appearing. So this was just the getter and setter functions. The next thing which I wanted to show you is FVM Haddad kit. So if you are getting started with development on Filecoin, this is going to be your go-to place. So you can just get started even if you want to build certain D apps. So you can take inspiration from this, like how your smart contracts that are deployed on Filecoin virtual machine can be interacted with your front end. So you can take inspiration from this as well. So it has got some basic smart contract examples. So you can have a look at that. And the second thing is the Filecoin API example. So when I was talking about filecoin.sol, I exactly meant this. So using this smart contracts, you should be able to interact with the built-in actors which resides on Filecoin network. And lastly, there are certain files which takes you through the scripts that are responsible for deploying your smart contracts. So when you have a look at this, you would be able to see like there are certain differences in how you deploy the smart contract on normal network while you're making use of hard hat environment. And so there are minute differences between the scripts. So you can just go through it and get to know. uh, okay, so if you move on to the task folder, here you would be able to see how you are going to interact with each of the function which are residing in these contracts folder. So that should be helpful when you are building your D app or just like some developer tools on top of FVM. And yep, I guess I'm done from my side. We do have some time, so
Yep,
uh,
I can see that there are 20 open questions. So maybe we can take like 3, 4 questions in the interest
sure,
of
sure,
time. And definitely, Rishikesh, you can also drop your Twitter if folks want to reach out to you, or
sure thing.
if you have like a Filecoin Slack or something where people can reach out for more queries. But yes,
Yep,
let's do some
you
questions.
can. This is my Twitter, so you can reach out to me right here, uh, and I will just drop you some other channels as well.
Uh, okay. uh,
Okay.
Rishikesh, can you, while sending the message, can you just make sure it's to everyone? Because I think it's just going to host.
Okay, okay, okay. I will just make sure. Okay, let me just quickly get back. Okay,
Cool, thanks.
okay, here you go. I just missed the F, but here it is. And yep, these are certain resources. If you want, I will just drop down a quick cheat sheet. I will just also uh, drop down the FEM hard hat kit, which the folks can use it while building their projects. So these are some of the helpful links which they can use during the deployment and the development. Of course, like there are 21 questions, but I will try to cover most of them which haven't been addressed before. So mm, 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 mm. So can we encrypt the data so only specific users can access it and others cannot? Exactly. So that's the beauty which you can handle over your smart contract. So there are two alternatives. The first one we are having here is lighthouse.storage. So lighthouse.storage, you can make use of it via across any other EVM compatible blockchain. But if you are looking for having this feature inside your inside your smart contracts that are deployed on FVM, so you can have a look at Medusa network for this. And like you can have this encryption, so you can set any condition for this. Storing data on Filecoin less expensive than Ethereum, of course. It's not about the cost, but it's about the feasibility and the security of your data. Web3.js, can we use it in front end to get the contracts? I would recommend making use of ethers.js, because it's the most stable as of now with FVM. So you can have it. If we want to use Zontac smart contract library, do we need to deploy those Zontac smart contract also on Hyperspace testnet? So yes, you need to actually import that inside your smart contract, just like you import any other Open Zeppelin library. Yes, there would be mentors. I would be available on Discord as well, so you can just ping us during the course of hackathon. If you are looking for some examples of project build in FVM, you can just go to some maybe I will just provide you all those links on Discord, and you should be able to see all those things. So for now, you might want to write down your smart contracts in Solidity itself. No, it's not mandatory to have a good UI, a clear implementation, and of course, a good like a documentation you can have, or a good explanation would help you to be eligible for winning the hackathon. And of course, a good UI would always be a cherry on cake. All right, I guess we have covered most of the relevant questions. Hello. Okay, so if you are looking for different projects and all that stuff, you can navigate to Spacewrap, where you can see already existing projects. You can also have a track at what other builders are building. Hey, sorry, you are not audible.
Yep. So
Yeah.
Rishikesh will also be on the Eat for All Discord. You can something, and yeah, like really great to restrictions. We can. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Audible? It's some issue with my internet. So yeah, first of all, like thank you for the workshop.
Yeah.
Yep. And with that, Rishikesh will also be in the Eat for All channel and next workshop. So hope you folks will be joining in there. And once again, thanks a lot, Rishikesh, for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Happy
All
hacking,
right.
happy
Thank you
hacking,
for
everyone. Yeah. See you at the hackathon.
all the best,
Bye bye.
everyone. Thanks, Rishikesh.